Welcome to our new video. In this video, we will cover section 3.10 of the standard for project management, which is optimize risk responses.
Hello.
What is important about this principle, Mr. Izgi?
Mr. Tekir, as we see on the screen, continually evaluate exposure to risk, both opportunities and threats, to maximize positive impacts and minimize negative impacts to the project and its outcomes. Individual and overall risks can impact projects. Risks can be positive opportunities or negative threats.
Mr. Izgi, I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is an important topic. We will discuss in this video how an opportunity can be a risk, which is counterintuitive.
Risks are addressed continually throughout the project. An organization's risk attitude, appetite, and threshold influence how risk is addressed. Risk responses should be appropriate for the significance of the risk, cost-effective, realistic within the project context, agreed to by relevant stakeholders, and owned by a responsible person.
Mr. Izgi, how is risk defined?
A risk is an uncertain event or condition that, if it occurs, can have a positive or negative effect on one or more objectives. Identified risks may or may not materialize in a project. Project teams endeavor to identify and evaluate known and emergent risks, both internal and external to the project, throughout the life cycle. Threats may result in issues such as delay, cost overrun, technical failure, performance shortfall, or loss of reputation. Opportunities can lead to benefits such as reduced time and cost, improved performance, increased market share, or enhanced reputation.
You said that if the risk occurs, it can have a positive effect. However, when we use the word risk in our daily lives, we mean some kind of a threat only. The option of opportunity is excluded. This conflicts with the definition.
Yes, it is counterintuitive. Actually, many different definitions have been proposed. The International Organization for Standardization, ISO, Guide 73, provides basic vocabulary to develop common understanding on risk management concepts and terms across different applications. ISO Guide 73:2009 defines risk as effect of uncertainty on objectives. Here, an effect is a deviation from the expected, positive or negative. So, the definition I have quoted is compatible with ISO.
Why is this definition widely accepted?
When we look at the ways threats and opportunities are managed, we see that they are equivalent. For example, probability and impact assessments are made during the analysis, both for threats and opportunities, using exactly the same techniques. When we look at the response strategies, we see that they are equivalent to, which we discuss in a later video related to the uncertainty performance domain.
We hear the phrase overall risk very often. What is it?
Overall project risk is the effect of uncertainty on the project as a whole. Project teams also monitor the overall project risk. Overall risk arises from all sources of uncertainty, including individual risks, and represents the exposure of the stakeholders to the implications of violations in project outcome, both positive and negative. Management of overall project risk aims to keep project risk exposure within an acceptable range. Management strategies include reducing drivers of threats, promoting drivers of opportunities, and maximizing the probability of achieving overall project objectives.
Project team members engage with relevant stakeholders to understand their risk appetite and risk thresholds. Can you tell us what a risk appetite is?
Risk appetite describes the degree of uncertainty an organization or individual is willing to accept in anticipation of a reward.
And what is the risk threshold?
Risk threshold is the measure of acceptable variation around an objective that reflects the risk appetite of the organization and stakeholders. The risk threshold reflects the risk appetite. Therefore, a risk threshold of plus minus 5% around the cost objective reflects a lower risk appetite than a risk threshold of plus minus 10%. The risk appetite and risk threshold inform how the project team navigates risk in a project.
Effective and appropriate risk responses can reduce individual and overall project threats and increase individual and overall opportunities. Project teams should consistently identify potential risk responses. What are the important things to be kept in mind?
They are appropriate and timely to the significance of the risk, cost-effective, realistic within the project context, agreed to by relevant stakeholders, and owned by a responsible person.
Thank you, Mr. Izgi. Is there something else you want to add before we finish up this video?
Yes, Mr. Tekir. Risks can exist within the enterprise, portfolio, program, project, and product. The project may be a component of a program in which the risk can potentially enhance or diminish benefits, realization, and therefore value. The project may be a component of a portfolio of related or unrelated work in which the risk can potentially enhance or diminish overall value of the portfolio and realization of business objectives. Organizations and project teams that employ consistent risk evaluation, planning, and proactive risk implementation often find the effort to be less costly than reacting to issues when the risk materializes.
So we have reached the end of this video. Please subscribe to our channel and like our videos. You can find the same videos, podcasts, and some templates on our Patreon page. Also, feel free to ask any questions to us or write comments under these videos. Goodbye.
Goodbye.